Welcome back to the show, folks. This is the Upper Tier. I'm your host, Niall. Again, another beautiful morning here in the sunny southeast in Ireland. Absolutely have to take advantage of this beautiful weather. It's not often we get prolonged weather like this. The wasps and bees are flying around, the birds are chirping. Beautiful morning, unbelievable weather. It's Monday, of course. It's a bank holiday here in Ireland. I know in the UK it isn't, so everyone's back at the grind again, as you do, starting on a Monday morning. Just thought I'd bring you kind of a little transfer show, share my thoughts on transfer news that's out there at the moment. Of course, hearing yesterday that Karim Benzema is going to leave Real Madrid, and then we got the double whammy as well, Zlatan retiring. The changing of a guard in European football, really, when you think about it. Two unbelievable players with unbelievable success, and we sure are going to miss those Zlatan quotes, aren't we, and stuff like that. Remember him moving to the Galaxy and taking out that one page ad, to the point where how lucky the MLS and the Galaxy were to be getting Zlatan. It was absolutely fabulous at the time. And of course, Benzema often being a thorn on my side as a Liverpool fan, but undoubtedly will go down as one of the greats, an absolutely fantastic footballer. But of course, that raises the question then, doesn't it, with Real Madrid, and what they're going to do now for their front men and what's going to happen there. We know they're looking potentially at Harry Kane. Could they turn Erling Haaland's head if he was to win a treble and stuff like that? Also Mo Salah, who obviously isn't very happy with how Liverpool's season panned out, staring down the barrel of Thursday night football. Could his head be turned towards Real Madrid? So many questions to be answered in terms of Real Madrid's front men. Also, talks of them being linked with a move for Kai Havertz as well. And we did talk about the Chelsea situation in terms of having to move players out. And in order to kind of bring their finances back in line and stuff like that, it may not be the players that they necessarily want to lose. We know that Mason Mount is more than likely on his way to Man United. He was in talks yesterday at the Spanish Grand Prix, and I think it was his dad who let it kind of slip that he's on his way to Man United, so it looks like that's pretty set. We also know that Alexis McAllister's more than likely on his way to Liverpool. His dad is flying in this week to finalise the talks and, cross the T's and dot the I's on that contract and stuff like that. But the interesting talk coming out of that is that it's not going to cost as much as what people think, and significantly less. The talk on around yesterday was it could potentially be 40 million, not 60 million, which would be unbelievable business for Liverpool. Michael Edwards vibes and that sort of deal and stuff like that. But to land Alexis McAllister for 40 million would be outstanding business for Liverpool. So who knows? Let's see what happens. Also, talk yesterday Ugarte to Chelsea looks like it's off. Looks like the boy is favouring PSG. Talks seem to have broken down with Chelsea in relation to the terms of the contract. I presume Chelsea were looking for a longer term contract and stuff like that in terms of the payment plan and all, and it just didn't suit. So it looks like his head is going to be turned towards PSG. I assume it'll be much clearer this week in terms of the transfer window once we get the Europa Conference League final out of the way and the Champions League as well. Then the transfer window will kick off and there'll be a lot more momentum. Players less inclined to talk and agents and stuff prior to these finals. But once these finals are done, then the transfer window will be in full swing. And Declan Rice's picture will be much clearer at that stage. There's talk at the moment of him potentially going to Arsenal or Man United, but it'll be interesting to see what way that goes. 100 million is the money that they're talking about. Absolutely fantastic player, but the money these days for transfers just boggles my mind at this stage, Gundogan as well, who's had a fantastic season with Man City, an absolutely unbelievable player for them over the years. Looks like his time might be coming to an end, and it'd be a fitting way to bow out from Man City, wouldn't it, with winning a treble and equaling United's 99 treble. Talk is he might be going to Barcelona. Again, Barcelona and their financial situation needs a little bit of work on it and has been called into question once again. But he looks like a player who would slot nicely in there. Absolutely fantastic player, and would be a big loss to Man City. But Man City again looking to refresh, upgrade and change and move on as they always do. Whether they're successful or they fall short, they always go back into the market as they always do. Thiago as well, they're talking about Liverpool talking about not renewing Thiago's contract. He's got 1 year to go, the boy. So it looks like that contract may run down. Would he cash in on him this year? Who knows? Let's see if someone came in with an offer for him. He's been an excellent player for Liverpool. Unfortunately, blighted with injuries at times and stuff like that. But Thiago, again, we talk about him. He's kind of one of these players. He's a kind of a luxury player that Liverpool can ill afford to carry now, unless he's available for 30, 40 plus games a season. It's a real problem in your squad now if you're carrying these type of players. We've seen it with Keita, we've seen it with Ox and various players like that. But I think his time could potentially come to an end. I imagine he'll stay for another season and then move on. But he's kind of a luxury player we can ill afford to be carrying. Looks like Chelsea and Arsenal are going to battle out for Moise Caicedo. Absolutely fabulous player there at Brighton. Everyone seems interested in him. The fee they're talking about is around 70 million, similar to what Arsenal offered last time. The boy made it very clear it would be his dream move to go to Arsenal. The talk is he has agreed personal terms there. I'd imagine that would be the case because they had laid the groundwork last time in terms of the transfer not going through, but a lot of the background work was already done and it's only a case of reinvigorating that situation. Could Chelsea come in and hijack that deal? They could, but I think the work that Arsenal did last year, I think will stand them in good stead. And I think we will probably see Moise Caicedo go to Arsenal. Now, if that's the case, then I would imagine that they're certainly not going to be getting Declan Rice. I can't see Arsenal signing both these players, but certainly even to land one of them would be sensational as an upgrade for Arsenal. So good stuff there. Eric Ten Hag, Jadon Sancho. Let me know your thoughts on this. A lot of talk going around post cup final and stuff like that. The boy was extremely poor in the cup final. He's had a really, really difficult transition from the Bundesliga where he was absolutely sensational. It's been a difficult transition into Man United. Huge price tag weighing heavy on the boy. At times he has shown shades of his form in the Bundesliga, but has he shown enough for Eric Ten Hag to stick with him for another season? My thinking is they'll probably move the boy on. Where would he go? My thinking is Newcastle would be a great place for Jadon Sancho to land under the tutelage of Eddie Howe. I think Eddie Howe could potentially coach and find and give Jadon Sancho that confidence to find his Bundesliga form. I think he'd probably go with a reasonable fee as well. I don't think United would be able to command anywhere near what they paid. But yeah, he would be a sensational signing for Newcastle, no doubt about it. We spoke about Mason Mount, of course, at the Spanish Grand Prix. Looks like he's on his way. We spoke about Kai Havertz building Germany, talking about Kai Havertz to Real Madrid. Has Kai Havertz' time at London is done? Let me know how you feel about it. Certainly was excellent for them, especially in that Champions League run where they went on and won it. But has flattered to deceive ever since, flattered to impress ever since. Really, really struggled. PSG looking to bring in Nagelsmann as their new manager. Interesting move on this because we know that a lot of their heavy hitters this season are going to leave, so there's going to be a kind of a redevelopment phase there at PSG, and who better than Nagelsmann to work and oversee that. Thierry Henry, of course, potentially coming in as his assistant as well, which would make for such an interesting combination there as well. But PSG looking to shake up the management side of things there. Big summer coming up for them as well. Talk of Messi gone, talk of Neymar gone. What will happen? Will Mbappe, will those rumours raise their heads again? Mbappe to Real Madrid. Who knows what PSG will look like come the end of the summer. Postecoglou to Spurs. Spurs fans, let me know your thoughts on this. This is they've kind of really struggled to land a manager really at the level we would expect Spurs to land. So they're looking towards Postecoglou, who's had unbelievable success with Celtic. But I just wonder would that form from the Scottish League and his success at Celtic translate down into the Premier League? Potentially it could. Plenty of experience there. But certainly he would be an appointment that won't flatter the Spurs fans, and lots of talk coming out there already from Spurs fans how unhappy they are with the level at which they're looking at. But certainly he could go in there as well. They're also looking as well at replacing Hugo Lloris. Talk is they're looking at David Raya off Brentford, excellent goalkeeper who's kind of fallen out of form with Thomas Frank, let's say. But also Brentford have put a hefty price tag on this guy. I think it's 40 million. And I know that David Raya's agent has been talking with Brentford that they want to move away, and if the club wants him to move away, they really need to look at that 40 million price tag. Seems extremely excessive for David Raya. But Spurs certainly going to be in the market this season for a new goalkeeper, as they look to probably replace Hugo Lloris. Everton. Interesting times at Everton, of course. A lot of financial stuff hanging over them. Escaped that last day relegation battle to maintain their Premier League status. But they're looking to sign Wout Weghorst when he comes available again, when his loan spell at United ends sometime in June, and he's heading back to Burnley. They're looking to sign him. I'm not too sure what to think about this. This again is unflattering as well. Drink there. Some lovely apple juice in the morning time, you can't beat it. But yeah, looking to replace or looking to bring in Wout Weghorst, which seems a very unflattering signing, considering the problems that Everton have had, especially up front, just can't buy a goal at times. Is Wout Weghorst the man to resolve that? Not really. His loan spell at United has been kind of poor, to be honest. Hasn't really offered them a whole lot of times. So we don't know. That's a very, very strange signing. That's the level at which Everton are pitching things now. It could be a financial thing as well. That's the kind of the pricing and the market that they're going to be in for. So let's see what happens there. Jesse Marsh has been shortlisted for the Monaco job. They sacked Philippe Clement, 6th in League 1. Not really good, no European football and stuff like that, so a very disappointing season for Monaco. We know in yesteryears and stuff like that they've been very impressive and very heavily involved in Europe, but this year no European football, so it looks like they're going to make a change there. Whether Jesse Marsh would be that change or not, I'm not too sure, but certainly he's been put on a short list. Liverpool have opened talks with Thuram, Kone, looking to bring in these boys as well, being heavily linked with them as well. The Thuram deal is one I could see going through. The Kone one is actually a little bit more complex. Club is looking for 30 to 35 million. I'm not sure if they're open to payment terms and stuff like that. It's more that they kind of want the money. So they also have options there. They've been looking at the boy Lavia down at Southampton, and why wouldn't they go in for him? He's been one of those pieces of quality in Southampton this season when there hasn't been a whole lot of it, so not a bad alternative really. Saliba at Arsenal, we know how impressive he's been at Arsenal. It was shown when he went out and got injured, how that defence kind of fell apart somewhat, but he's a huge player for Arsenal, but stalling on a contract at the moment amid interest from PSG. So will Arsenal be able to convince the boy to get him over the line, or will they lose out and lose him to PSG? Me thinking Arsenal, if they're serious and they want to push on again this year and push for it, to get it back in that title race again and improve and move on another level as well. Saliba's the kind of player they have to be retaining, and they can't afford to let him go. But let's see, we'll keep a close eye on that one. Talk of James Ward-Prowse being linked with a move to Wolves. This would be a very good signing for Wolves. As we know this season with Wolves, they've kind of struggled at time for goals, and especially in their set piece area and stuff like that. So James Ward-Prowse might be able to deliver a bit more there. We know, I think he scored over a third of Southampton's goals last season, and we know how most of them come. He's unbelievable from a dead ball situation, free kicks and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be a very good move for him to go to Wolves. Would he be looking at something a bit higher than Wolves? Could he look at something a bit higher than Wolves? Who knows? Would a higher up team be willing to take more of a chance on him? He'd probably play regular football at Wolves, which what he might be looking for. If he moved up into a higher bracket than Wolves, would he be more of a squad player? Again, more of a luxury player, utility player to bring on in moments in matches and stuff like that, where he might be able to get you a goal from a set piece, free kick, that kind of thing. So we'll keep an eye, but no doubt Southampton are going to get raided this season with their players. There's a number of players in there, as we mentioned, Lavia, James Ward-Prowse, Kyle Walker-Peters, just to name a few. I can't imagine those boys are going to be playing in the Championship next season, but let's see what happens. Spurs shown an interest in James Maddison, but I think there's going to be the lure. I think he's going to be looking potentially for a bigger move than Spurs. Spurs, of course, had a really, really poor season. Managerial situation up in the air. A lot of instability there at the moment. A lot of players to be brought in. The squad needs a big revamp and stuff like that. A lot of players brought in. Their defence is shocking. Obviously the goalkeeping situation that we spoke about there as well. But with James Maddison, with the lure of a bigger club, potentially with European football on offer, maybe seal the deal for James Maddison. Again, he's another boy. He's been linked with Newcastle as well. I think under Eddie Howe he would be sensational. And I think that's probably where he should be going. But again, we'll keep an eye on that. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people in for James Maddison. I'm sure Arsenal will be interested in James Maddison. So let's see where the whole situation goes. So this is going to be just your morning roundup of the transfer news that's out there at the moment. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Of course, subscribe and like to the channel and hit that bell notification. Share the content. But again, let us know your thoughts. If your team is out there, who do you think they're going to sign? What do you think they need? Let us know in the comments. As always, if you want to contact us, you'll find us out there. We're on all the socials. Audio versions of the show are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, all the usual places where you pick up your audio and visual podcasts. And we will talk to you again real soon. Have a great day.